first of all, let me thank IFPRI for this opportunity to participate in this laudable project of documenting successes in feeding the poor and hungry. I was designated as co-chair of the advisory committee that helped uh, complete this project, and it was in my capacity as a representative of a farmers organization. And I think by doing this, IFPRI has underscored the crucial role of farmers and their organizations in the continuing struggle to reduce hunger and poverty in the world. There are many useful insights that we can draw from the Millions Fed project. Clearly, weaning millions, if not billions, of poor people from abject hunger may be daunting, but it is not an impossible task. The list of success stories that the project has compiled and documented is proof of this. Perhaps more important is the fact that both the process and the result of mitigating hunger brings with it very many invaluable side benefits. Not only are stomachs filled with food, but bodies also become healthier and more resistant to diseases, the brains develop faster, and heretofore empty pockets gain some extra money to make life more livable and comfortable for large masses of people. Most important, I think, the poor and the hungry get back their dignity and self-worth and regain the confidence to aspire and work for a better future. In that sense, feeding people is much like freeing them from the bondage of hunger, poverty, and desperation. The whole society and economy also benefits because the poor and the hungry are oftentimes also the farmers who produce the food. Helping them produce more food more efficiently not only enhances food security, but also generates much added economic value, increases purchasing power, and provides a stimulus for jobs to be created. I think the Millions Fed project also shows that it is not really not that difficult to succeed. In many cases, all it takes is a willingness to listen to people, a readiness to learn from your mistakes and try out new approaches, perseverance, and a lot of common sense. Much of the needed technology is already available or can be generated within a reasonable amount of time. There does not seem to be a major lack of people to implement programs. Funding, of course, is always a problem, but a lot can be done even with the scarce funds that are already available. Why is it then, I wonder, that despite all the hype and talk about having poverty and hunger by 2015, and despite all the successes that we have documented in this project, there are still over 1 billion people going to bed without food every night, and we are still far off from achieving our Millennium Development Goals? I think it is because eradicating poverty and extricating people out of chronic hunger is not a benign task or always a win-win proposition. As Rajul said, it entails making hard choices and in the process, making sacrifices and accepting trade-offs. Putting money into farm-to-market roads or irrigation facilities, for example, in a developing country, often means taking money away from pet projects of politicians in vote-rich cities. Promoting integrated pest management and other low-cost technologies could threaten the interests of well-entrenched fertilizer, seed, and input dealers. Enhancing the security of tenure of tenants, pastoralists, and settlers so that they will have the incentive to invest in their lands also usually invites the opposition of politically influential landowners and agribusinessmen. So the result is that some money and effort is given to hunger and poverty mitigation, just enough to make it appear that something is being done, but rarely enough to reverse the tide and make a real difference. And many times the little good that is achieved gets overrun by policies and regulations that simply aim to perpetuate the status quo. It is my hope that this Millions Fed project will help reverse this tide by showing politicians, decision makers, and other influential members of society that success in feeding the poor and hungry is possible and affordable, and that while it may entail some short-term sacrifices, it will lead to much more economic, social, and political gains in the long term. Still, politicians and decision makers do not base their decisions on books that they read. They react to what their constituents say and do what is politically necessary. So it is also important for civil society, particularly farmers and their organizations, to aggressively argue and advocate for change. Farmers and their organizations can go farther by showing how things can get done in an organized manner, whether it is by helping disseminate technology, or operating a communal irrigation system, or providing marketing, credit, and economic services to their members. In this way, they too can become effective change agents. With the right stories and by showcasing actual successes in the field, I believe we can make a huge contribution to the effort to help eradicate hunger and poverty in the world. Thanks to the support of the Gates Foundation, the Millions Fed program has reminded us that what has appeared to be an impossible task is actually doable, and that with the right attitude and perseverance, there is no reason why we cannot succeed. Thank you.